Hello there and welcome to Upper 6 Further Maths. Here we're looking at complex numbers in exponential form. So let's get started. We have three different ways of writing a complex number. We have the Cartesian form, x plus yi. Second, we looked at the modulus argument form in the AS level. That was r cos theta plus I sin theta. Hopefully the two of those forms are fairly familiar to you from the lower sixth. But we also have this third way that we can write a complex number in exponential form. And you can see here the letters borrow from the modulus argument form. R still refers to the modulus of the complex number, and then it's E. We'll see E later in, well, we saw it a little bit in the lower sixth, so hopefully that's not too unfamiliar to you. Theta, that's still the argument, and then I is afterwards still on the power. So it's the modulus times e to the argument I. So that's a complex number in exponential form. So let's have a go at these two questions then. Express in exponential form this complex number here. At the moment it's in modulus argument form, and we need to convert it into exponential form. The first thing we do is we spot that r is a letter in common between the modulus argument form and the exponential form, so the square root of 2 will be the first thing in the exponential form. Then we also spot that the argument theta is also in the exponential form, so pi by 10 being the argument here will pop in as a power of e being multiplied by I afterwards. And this is the answer, so it's just quickly borrowing over the modulus from the modulus argument form and the arguments from the modulus argument form and rearranging it into this specific way. There's a very good reason why complex numbers can be written like this, but for the moment we're just going to look at rewriting complex numbers in this form, and then maybe when we get into the Maclaurin series chapter we can have a look at why this thing here is exactly the same as this thing here. But we'll move on to part B in the meantime. Now in part B it's a little bit tricky because we have a negative symbol in the middle of cos and sine, and that's generally not correct for modulus argument form, so we have to rearrange this first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use these little few rules of trigonometry. Now what this is saying is that on the sine graph, if you do a reflection on the y-axis from left to right, that's just the same as a reflection from up to down, with the minus at the front there. So that's saying that if you've got a negative symbol that's in front of sine, then what you can do is you can actually move that negative symbol into the modulus, into the pi by 8, into the angle. And if you're doing that to the angle on sine, then you also have to do the same thing on cos. It doesn't matter whether the cos has a positive angle or a negative angle, it gives you the same output. So what we're going to do here is we're effectively going to move the negative symbol into the angle, and then the negative symbol can change to a plus. That's a good way of generally remembering it. And then what we're going to do is rewrite now in exponential form, so the modulus will still be at the front, and the argument is now minus pi by 8. So 5e to the minus pi by 8i. And that's the answer to these two questions. Boom. Not too bad, really. Let's move on to another question. Express in exponential form z equals 2 minus 3i. So first thing with a standard complex number question is draw a little diagram and then draw an arrow to that coordinate, 2 along, 3 down, because it's 2 minus 3. And then we're going to work out the modulus of that complex number. That's the distance from the centre to that coordinate, 2 minus 3i. So it's 2 squared plus 3 squared. That's its dimensions, 2 along and then 3 downwards. So it's 2 squared plus 3 squared. That's the square root of 13. Then we have to work out the arguments. Now the arguments, any arguments that's on the bottom of the graph is a negative value. So it's going to be tan minus 1 of 3 over 2. That's opposite over adjacent. But then the negative value of this, because it's on the bottom, so that's minus 0.983. So we're going to jump straight from this form to this form by writing it as the modulus, that's root 13, e to the minus 0.983i, that's the argument. So the modulus pops in here, the argument pops in here. Let's move on to question D. Express now in Cartesian form this exponential form complex number here. Well, the best way to go from here to from level 3 to level 1 is to go through level 2. So we'll go to modulus argument form first, and then we'll go up to Cartesian form. So what we'll do first is we will rewrite this in modulus argument form. So we'll note that the modulus appears at the front, and then the argument pops into two positions where the angle is, and the I pops to the front of the sine expression. And now what we're going to do is we're now going to expand the brackets. So we're now going to multiply root 2 by the first thing in this bracket here. So do that on your calculator. That's going to give you -1. And then expand root 2 with the last term. Ignore the I for now, just put I afterwards. And when you expand root 2 with sine 3 pi by 4, you get +1. So it's +1 times I, so plus I. So that's the complex number in Cartesian form. Moving on to a little more tricky question, modulus argument form. We've got 23 pi over 5. Now, we must remember here that arguments should only really be written between -pi to pi. So what we can do, inside the sine and the cos angle, it doesn't really matter if you were to add or take away 2 pi radians, because that's just 360 degrees. Each cos or sine output doesn't vary when you add or subtract 2 pi radians. So from this line to the next line, I'm going to be taking away 2 pi. And then from this line to the next line, I'm also going to be taking away 2 pi from the argument. You can see I've gone from 23 pi by 5 to 13 pi by 5, and from 13 pi by 5 to 3 pi by 5. And now this satisfies the inequality where the argument is in between -pi to pi. And the last thing to now do is convert it from exponential form to modulus argument form, and we'll follow this set of rules here to get this answer here. 2 stays at the front, and then it's cos 3 pi by 5 plus I sine 3 pi by 5. And let's move on to one more slightly trickier question. Use e to the theta I equals cos theta plus I sine theta to show that cos theta is identical to 1/2 e to the theta I plus e to the minus theta I. So what we'll do is we'll write out e to the theta I equals cos theta plus I sine theta, and we'll call that equation 1. Let's do exactly the same thing with e to the minus theta I now. So e to the minus theta I, that will mean that it's cos minus theta plus I sine minus theta. We're just basically taking this formula at the top here and setting theta as minus theta. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out these negatives and move them into the middle. Remember, right at the start of the video on question 2, we moved the minus symbol into the angle. Here we're going to move the minus symbol out of the angle. So we're effectively going to use this little set of rules here. If you've got a minus angle inside a sine function, you can move that negative symbol to the front. And when you've got cos of a negative angle, that's going to be cos of that positive angle. So we're going to move the negative symbol to the middle, and we're going to call that equation 2. Now what we're going to do next is add equations 1 and equations 2 together. So on the outside, that's going to be, so on the left-hand side, that's going to be these two things added together. And on the right-hand side, it's going to be all of this, add all of this. Now what you'll see here is you've got a positive I sine theta and a negative I sine theta, so the sine thetas cancel out. And we've just got now 2 cos thetas left over. So if we now divide both sides by 2, then we get a half bracket e to the theta I plus e to the minus theta I equals cos theta, which is exactly what we were looking for above here, so as required. Okay, so that was that finished on quite a tricky question there, but most of the questions aren't too bad indeed. Pause the video and give these 2 questions a go. Okay, so for question 1D, the first thing we need to do is we need to work out the modulus and the argument. So r is going to equal the square root of 8 squared plus 1 squared. That's going to be root 65. And for the argument, it would be helpful if we drew a little diagram to get the ball rolling. It's going to be minus 8 plus I, so that would be the complex number over here. So what I'll do then is I'll put an 8 down here, a 1 here, work out this very small angle here, and then do pi minus it. So theta is going to equal tan inverse, opposite over adjacent, 1 over 8. So let me grab my calculator. Let's make sure it's in radians mode first. So tan inverse 1 divided by 8. And that gives me 0.124. But then we need to do pi minus theta to give ourselves the actual argument. Pi minus answer. 3.02 is the answer there to 3 significant figures. So, in terms of express the following in the form re to the theta I, then that's going to be root 65 e to the 3.02 I. And there we are, that's the answer to this question. Let's move on to question H. So when we have a negative symbol in the middle of a number that appears to be in modulus argument form, we need to move that angle to the, so we need to move that negative symbol into the angle. So it's going to be minus pi by 6, add I sine minus pi by 6. And now I can use the quick conversion between modulus argument form to exponential form. That's going to be 8 e to the minus pi by 6 I. And there we are, that's the answer to that question. You'll notice here on the two questions, this one here just has a number times I, this one here has something times pi I, and that's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes your radian calculation is a value, is a numerical value, and sometimes it's a multiple of pi. That's just how things come sometimes. Okay, so there we are. That's all we're going to go through in this video then. Have a go at the questions from page 5, exercise 1A. Make sure you get lots of practice before we move on to more complicated things in the complex numbers chapter. Thanks very much for watching.